What is up, YouTubers? Jonza here, and welcome back to another episode of Zawcasters. In our last episode, we were talking about Pokepark. I was more talking about what the game was about than how I really felt about it. I did enjoy the games, by the way, if I never mentioned that in the last episode. But, yeah, we're here with a brand new episode. I obviously don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, but you guys know. You guys know already. But I want to put out like a little small story before we get started, and it's something that it's kind of a ridiculous story. So I'm on my way home from work, right? And there's at least like on the way back, one of my stops is at the Penn Center, which is my city mall. Well, I mean we have multiple malls here, but like the main mall I normally would go to. And just before there, like the stop before there, there's this woman with a child, like in a stroller and everything, and they got on at like the stop before the Penn Center, right? And for some reason, they got off at the Penn Center. Now you might be thinking, oh, okay, that's just normal. But here's the thing. It, like, just from what I can see, it looks like it could be, like, at least a 10 to 15 minute walk. A 10 to 15 minute walk. So, it's from, like, where that bus stop is to where she could have been at that point when she gets off the bus. And I'm sitting there like, bitch, you're that lazy where you can't walk another, like, 10 to 15 minutes to get to the Penn Center? Like, bruh. It's like 10 to 15 minutes. You can easily walk that. I mean, for me, whenever I decide to at least walk to the Penn Center, it takes me just under an hour to walk there. And I have more sense to even use the bus. Like, I do bus over there sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, because, I mean, obviously an hour walk is an hour walk, sure. But, like, still, I have good sense to use the bus at that time. Because it's about an hour walk, and I save like 40 minutes. What does she save? Like 10 minutes at least? Like, bitch, you can't just walk for like 10 extra minutes? You're in that much of a hurry or something? And like the thing is, buses always come at a certain time. So like, the amount of time she waited there, she could have like had more feet to, like she could have maybe even beaten the bus there. Maybe, like, by the time she probably, like, started waiting, like, maybe it was, like, 10 minutes ago she got there at the bus stop, she probably could have made it to the Penn Center before the bus even showed up. So, I don't know, this is just what's wrong with society, like, there's just, like, there's lazy, very lazy people, there's people with, like, stupid intentions, and then there's money-hungry people. Those are the people I probably despise the most because just with them, that's why society is failing. I just wanted to point that out before we really got started. What the hell? How did I get out of my wheel? I don't know, the app kind of just closed on itself for some reason. But anyways, enough of that little rant. I just thought it was ridiculous and something I thought I could share. But anyways, let's get into today's episode. I still do have Pokepark in the wheel, but I can't really get rid of it, like, intentionally. I haven't had time to get rid of it, so if we land on it by mistake... I mean, not like you guys can see the wheel, but like... Ooh, Slime Rancher we get to talk about today. Okay. I think I can at least get rid of Slime Rancher on this. Let's see, where is it? It's right here, so I can get rid of that. Okay. Okay, there we go. But, okay. So today's episode is talking about Slime Rancher. So what is Slime Rancher? Well, Slime Rancher is basically a farming game where you basically build a farm. You capture slimes and put them in these corrals, and you feed them. They poop, and you use their poop to get money. Yes, exactly. Technically, their poops are called plorts, but I like to call them poop sometimes because it's literally like they eat and then they poop. That's basically what it is. But it's a very like cute and interesting game because I mean there's a bunch of different types of slimes out there too, and just how the game runs, it's pretty fun honestly. The different kinds of slimes. There are pink slimes, there are rock slimes, tabby slimes, which is a kind of cat slime. You got phosphor slimes, which phosphor slimes are like, they're more of like a nighttime type of slime with like wings in the back. Like, I don't know what an actual phosphor is, but I think that's an actual word of something. You got boom slimes where they pretty much explode once in a while. They don't like actually commit suicide or anything. Don't worry. They just blow up and then they're just knocked out for a few seconds. Don't worry. The game's not that dark. You got honey slimes. You got rad slimes, which are pretty much radiation slimes. You have hunter slimes, which they can go invisible. So they're pretty hard to find. You got crystal slimes. You got quantum slimes. Let's see, quantums. Then you have, well, quantums are like, they're like, I guess, like a glitchy, like in quantum space is, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. We have the dervish slime, which is almost like the planet Saturn, but by the way, it's like literally like a purplish bluish slime with like a ring around it. There's a mosaic slime, which is basically like a glass slime, and there's a tangle slime, which that's basically like a plant slime. Um, and I believe there's also saber slimes, which you can't normally find those on their own. They have to be normally combined, which I'll get to the combined portion later. But like you can only find saber slimes as combined with other slimes. There are two other slimes I forgot to mention too. There's puddle and fire slimes. Those two, those two are the only ones that don't really combine with any of the other slimes, which I'm about to go into. But another thing that makes this game interesting is that if you feed a different like type of plort to a different slime, like say you feed a tabby plort to a rock slime, it'll become a rock tabby largo, which is like a combined form of it, which is very interesting. It's kind of fun. Like you kind of make like different combinations of slimes you want to have in your ranch, which it's a fun experience. Fun, fun, fun. Let's see. Uh, yeah, and basically what you have to do is like you get money to build more corrals to have more slimes, and obviously you feed them. And with these corrals, like there's like you have upgrades for the corrals too. Like you can put higher walls up so they don't escape, air nets so they don't escape. You have like music to calm them down. They get like an auto feeder, so you can just kind of put some food in there for when you need to and get feed it to them. And there's like a plort collector where can pretty much eat up or suck up all the plorts that the slimes leave behind. And an interesting thing, if you feed a slime their favorite food, they'll poop out like twice as much plorts. So like, say for instance, you just have a regular rad slime, any other like type of food that it would normally eat, which I think in this case, I mean rad slimes, I think they only eat veggies, which there's like three kinds of foods, by the way. There's meat, there's fruit, and then there's veggies. I'm pretty sure rads eat veggies, and with that you can I'm losing my wording. With that, like, if you just feed a regular veggie to that slime, it'll only poop out one plort. But if you feed it its favorite food, which I think one of them is oka okas, and if you feed those to it, it'll poop out two. So that's a nice little strategy point. Like, you can kind of like build up farms and stuff too, like stuff for fruit, veggies, and meat too. Like obviously with chickens as well, you can like reproduce them, and then you can like feed them to your slimes and everything. So you know, I would just say it's like a very interesting game. Basically, another thing like to explore more of the world too, you have to find like these largos or gordos. I think yeah, they're gordos. There's like these type of gordos where you have to feed them like a certain amount of food, And sometimes you get rewards, which some of them are slime keys to open up new areas too, which is a very interesting concept, but I enjoy it. But yeah, it's just like a night, like you get to explore, check out different environments too, encounter new slimes. There is technically a Slime Rancher 2. I haven't actually looked really too much into Slime Rancher 2. I know there's like a few new ones. I can't think of a bunch. Like I think there might be a fish one. I think there's a bunny one and a bat slime. But yeah, I haven't really looked too much into Slime Rancher 2 because I'm kind of waiting for the for that to become the Switch version, because I think right now it's only available for Xbox and PC. So, if anything, I'm waiting for that to be ported over to the Switch at some point because I would love to play it for my main channel eventually. But yeah, and basically you also get like these letters from a friend from Earth because okay, so basically your character is originally from Earth, who are just starting their Slime Rancher adventures, and you know, getting a Slime Rancher farm together and everything, exploring the far, far range or whatever, and you leave your one friend behind, which, what was their name? Casey. Casey, that was it. Their name was Casey, and basically they send you like they keep sending you letters too once in a while because they're like your closest friend and everything, and just the fact that you guys aren't like around each other anymore. It's kind of like a sad story between two friends that can't really like see each other because they're like far away in another place. Like I mean, in these two cases, they're like on a different planet from each other, but like it kind of shows like a nice little it kind of like tells you something between like two friends that are like on the other part of the world or something, but like you could still send them messages and just like it kind of makes you miss some friends that are now like kind of gone from your life, but like because they move on to like a different world, or not world, but like a different place in the world. So it kind of has like a nice little sad but nice touching story between these two characters, which I think our character's name is a B, I'm pretty sure, like BEA. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know what else to really talk about the game. We're only like 12 minutes in. um Oh, right, there are these saber slimes I was talking about before. Basically, there is a certain area you can go to later in the game after completing an objective. There are some objectives you get to do. They're optional, but like you can do them. And basically, you get introduced to this man. I think his name is like Oka, I think, or something around that. But he takes you to this like old Slime Rancher land. I guess I think he brings you back into the past or something. I don't know. I keep forgetting. But like basically in that section, you encounter combinations of other types of slimes and saber slimes, which in those cases, those like in that area, that's the only way you can get saber plorts and be able to get a saber slime of your own, because there are no like actual saber slimes, like they're extinct apparently. So you always have to combine those with something. You can't have a regular saber slime. But that's an interesting thing for those types of slimes. So yeah. Funny enough, the one type of slime that loves to eat everything is the pink slimes, which the pink slimes, they're like the most common slime in the game. Like they're like your first fairy slimes you pretty much get in the game. But and they don't I can't speak. Their plorts, they don't really sell for a lot normally, but they are helpful in one other thing, because you open up something later in your ranch, which is the lab, and you can use this lab to create some certain stuff. Like you can make some certain teleporters, so you don't have to go all the way to the certain location, because it takes a while for you to get from your home to that certain area. And there are teleporters out there that can easily take you home, but you can't like go back either. So like you could build some like teleporters. You could make like these bee drones to actually do some of the farming for you, so you don't have to, which is interesting. Those are the ones I normally aim for, but there's like other stuff. There's like a slime hoop, I think. There's like a little trophy stand where you can put like one of your slime largos on it and just kind of show it off or whatever. There's Gordo snares, so like I was saying with the Gordos before, like you could get stuff like keys and some rewards just by feeding them a lot. You can use these Gordo snares to get Gordos, and then obviously you can feed them. Like you can pretty much place them anywhere and just feed them, which is another interesting thing. And yeah, I think that's for the some of the stuff in the lab. But yeah, basically, like a lot of the stuff that you need to build these specific things, you need to buy like. Oh yeah, there is another thing too. To get some certain resources too, you need to buy like there's there's a drill, there's a pump, and then there's I don't know what it's called, but it's more like collecting like nectar or something. But like to build like a lot of these certain drills and stuff to collect these items, you need to get so many pink plorts. Like it's not even funny. Like you really need to like keep your pink slimes by the lab so you can just deposit all of them into the refinery, which that's where you deposit those certain plorts to store them, and then you can use those plorts to make stuff too. So that's another interesting thing to make some specific stuff. Another set of items I forgot to mention too, like you can make like a bank and a refinery. So basically, normally you shoot these plorts into a bank system, and that's how you get the money. And basically, with the refinery and bank, you can make the in the refinery. You can technically bring those like anywhere in the world, technically, and then you can just deposit those wherever, which is kind of interesting, you know. You just kind of, oh, that's something I never actually decided to think on. Okay, so I was literally just thinking because normally whenever I farm, I just go to these specific areas and then go back to my ranch. Obviously with teleporters, well, most of the time with teleporters, but like I can I normally just bring them all the way back to the refinery and deposit them there. But I just realized maybe I could like make refinery spot or like make refinery deposits, and I could put those in those specific areas where I have like the drills, the pumps, and the advances, and I could just deposit it right there and then. I don't have to go all the way to back to the ranch for that, which I don't know why I never thought about that before. And I guess putting banks all over the world too might be another interesting thing too. So like, yeah, because here's the thing as well. The one complaint I do have about the game is that you don't really have a lot of slots. I mean, with these certain slots, you can hold a certain item. Like, I think the maximum of a certain item you can get is like 100. So like, say I can hold up to like 100 pink plorts, right? And then same with like a bunch of other plorts, or like fruits, slimes, stuff like that. But there's literally only 4 slots for that specific one. So I could have like 100 pink plorts, 100 chickens, 100 rock slimes, and 100 carrots. But then at that point, I can't suck anything else up. That's the thing. That's the one. Like you do kind of have a 5th slot though, but that's specifically for getting water, which you can use water to you can use water to take out tars, which that's another thing I haven't mentioned. Tars are like a vicious type of slime, which because I mentioned Largos before and how you can combine slimes. If you combine a certain slime already, so like say we have like a phosphor honey slime, if you feed that, say, like a boom plort, it will turn into a tar and want to eat you and every slime around you. So, yeah, don't recommend making a tar. There are 2 other slimes I haven't mentioned either. There's there's these glitch slimes which you can access in another like uh, objective type of thing you can do, or like a side mission, and basically you can go in. You don't get to keep these glitch slimes, so you can like collect them up in this certain like mini game, kind of. Like you kind of enter like this virtual reality area, which is kind of like the main like game areas still, but like you go around, you collect these glitch slimes, and they come out as like green cartridges, which you can deposit to get some specific items from this dude, which is a nice little touch. And then there's this other one which I didn't find out until like maybe like quite a bit of months ago. Um, but there's this other one with Quicksilver slimes. I think that's what they're called, Quicksilver slimes. But basically they're like speedy slimes. You don't keep those either, but you can collect their plorts. Um, but you can't like fully keep the plorts too. You can kind of collect them during this little mini game, but basically it's kind of like a racetrack almost, where you're supposed to like shoot the Quicksilver slimes with like electric energy, and then they drop plorts, and then you collect them, and then you deposit them to get rewards, which is another interesting thing. I've realized over time. So yeah, I think I have mentioned all the slimes at this point. So, well, I mean, besides the ones in Slime Rancher 2, which I don't know like all of them because I haven't played it yet. Like I said, I'm waiting until it gets ported over to the Switch. But yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention with the water, I was going to mention it when I mentioned water before, but that's one of the ways to feed your puddle slime. Like that's the only thing that they will pretty much eat, question mark, is water. So if you feed them like water, they'll poop puddle plorts, which is what they are. And I think for fire slimes too, you kind of have like this incinerator thing, which you can like burn stuff and like it kind of builds ashes, and that's what they pretty much eat. They eat the ashes of your burnt items that you don't need anymore. So, I mean, it's a very interesting, fun, and it's a fun exploration farming game. It does get tedious a little bit, where you have to keep like coming back and farming once in a while, or else your like slimes will get like a little pissed off and might cause trouble. Especially some certain slimes, like they're like if you have like quantum slimes, they will teleport out of that corral if they're very upset. And obviously, if they eat the wrong plort or whatever, they'll turn into tars, and then everything's gonna be a mess. You definitely like have to make sure you come back to your ranch once in a while. So, but it's fun. You get to kind of go out, do some trips, come back, and all that. But of course, you have to do all the farming too, which is annoying. Which does like I was saying with bee drones before, like in those would definitely be helpful, so you don't have to do it yourself. Because you could just activate them and then just leave the rest of it to them for a while, and then you just kind of move on to some other stuff you want to do if you want to explore more and everything. But yeah, I mean, even on my challenge channel, I've done like at least two different series of that so far, which I did like a honey slime challenge where like any combined Largo I had to at least be a honey split. So I had to have like honey phosphors, honey booms, honey pinks. Like I couldn't combine any other slimes together. Like I just had to have honey slimes at least. So I did that, and I did a random Largo challenge as well, where I pre-randomized what combinations I would have of each different type of slime. Like that I could obtain, by the way, like slimes I could obtain. So like, well, let's see. I think one of them was like a dervish tangle. Another was like I think it was like a honey phosphor. I think I had no. It was honey pink. I think that was one of them. Honey pinks. And then I think it was like boom quantums I had too. I don't remember all the ones I did for the challenge channel, but yeah, they were there. It like there's some good replayability, like if you want to do some certain runs for it too. Oh yeah, there is actually this funny other thing because well, to get these keys, like there are like doors you can open up with these keys to get to new areas. You can actually get to one of these areas without a key, and one of the things you do need to get is a jetpack, which I forgot to mention that. Like you can buy like more hearts, more energy, and a jetpack which can boost you further and everything, and kind of. I guess it's more of a glide a little bit. With a jetpack, like you kind of like fly up just a little bit, and you can stay up there for a while, but it can help you like get to far like jumps pretty much. So there's that. But basically, I don't know how to explain the area, but using those, you can get from like that certain spot over to another spot, like go over the gate. And you can pretty much just go over the gate and just go to that area like early without a key, which is interesting. And yeah, I think there's also like a few requirements in order to like get the credits, because that kind of counts as the end of the game normally, like done with the main story and everything. Which I think the requirements, you have to get all of Casey's letters, so you kind of have to go day by day. You have to get to the last section of the game, which is in the Glass Desert. That's like the last area of the game, and read the ranchers before you note. Like at least that last note, you don't have to read every single note the previous rancher left for you, but like you have to read that last one, I think. And the other requirement is that you have to unlock 5 doors at least, which is a very interesting thing. I didn't know about that beforehand, like with the doors. I remember I was doing it for like I think the honey challenge. I was like, why am I not getting the last bit of letters? Why is it taking so long? Little did I realize I didn't have 5 doors open, so I had to go grab some more keys and open the doors. But yeah. I mean, there's definitely some replayability in that too. Like I said, was saying with like the certain different runs, you can do like a one specific type slime challenge. Like I was saying with the honey challenge, you can do that with like maybe just boom slimes. You could do it with just rad slimes. Maybe just one with just pink slimes. Maybe one with just tangle slimes too. Because the thing is with tangle slimes, you need to make it all the way to the end of the, or pretty much in the last area, which is already hard to do. So that would be a challenge. Um, and then there's like the random Largo challenge where you randomize the certain Largos together, which I did before, but like you can re-randomize and pick different combinations, which is interesting because I normally kind of stick with some of the same combinations. Obviously, as the game kind of continues, like I combine one set of slimes and another just from like the beginning area to the end normally, but or like the beginning section slimes, then the middle section slimes, and the final section slimes. And that's normally how I normally do it, but like it's nice to see like some of these other different combinations that you normally don't see. Like, what is one I probably haven't seen? I probably haven't seen like a tangled rock before, like a tangled rock slime. Like, I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen a dervish tabby. I don't know if I've seen a mosaic. I feel like maybe I have, but like a mosaic phosphor slime. But I don't know. It's just some like certain combinations like you probably don't even realize you've seen yet, which yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of this other game that some YouTubers have been playing, which is Pokemon Infinite Fusion, which I would like to play someday, but I don't really have a good laptop to use for games and everything. So yeah, but it kind of reminds me of that with like the different combinations that there are possible with that. Because with Pokemon Infinite Infusion, apparently, like, I think it's like mostly through Gen 1 to Gen 4 mostly, and a little bit of Gen 5 and 6 Pokemon are in there too. But like, still, they're like, I think they said like over 1,700 different combinations, which is like insane. And like, a lot of them are like made by them themselves too, which is interesting. Kind of going off topic of Slime Rancher there, but very interesting game. And Slime Rancher is definitely an interesting game, and I would recommend you play it if you haven't already. And Slime Rancher 2, like, obviously for my main channel, I'm waiting for the Switch version, because that's the only way I can play it. But like, once it comes onto the Switch, I will definitely play it on my main channel, which I've mentioned my main channel and challenge channel already. Both are in the description below, so go check them out. I don't know why I have to shout out those channels. If anything, this channel's the one that needs more of the subscribers at this point. Well, I mean, this one and my challenge channel, honestly, because my main channel, that's like over 225 subscribers at this point, so that one's doing okay. My challenge channel only has 13 subscribers, which is very odd because it's the same kind of content, just challenge based. And then there's this podcast channel, which, to be fair with this, I was on a big hiatus. Like, this is like the 5th episode I've made since I've came back. But, like, you know, I gotta make sure I keep up with these too when I can. So, you know, and it's hard to also find time to also record these podcasts. Like, for these specifically, I have to, like, time it when no one's home. I mean, for, like, most of my other videos I do for my channel, like, I do normally try to do it when no one's home, but, like, I can typically record them while people are home. I just have to hope not to be interrupted during that time. But, like, with this, I mean, because I don't want, like, a lot of, like, loud noises outside. Like, I don't mind them a little bit while I'm recording, like, my videos and stuff, but since there's no, like, gameplay sound in the background normally, it's just my voice. I don't know if I should start adding music to this. Should I? I don't know. Because I'd also just realized, too, that maybe, like, some podcasts, like, have some, like, music in the background as well. So I don't know. Maybe I might start doing that. I don't know. Depends if I feel, or if I remember to do that or something. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyways, I think that's where we're gonna end it. We're pretty much over a half an hour now, which is normally at least when I like to end it off. I like to normally end off these podcasts between like 25 minutes to 30 minutes, pretty much. Well, I mean, we're over the time now, but, you know, just a little bit after half an hour is fine. But, yeah, that's going to cut it for this Slime Rancher episode. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, press the like button or subscribe, do whatever. And I'll see you all dudes in the next episode. See you dudes next time.